Greetings from Jerusalem. I am here at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is built over the spot where it is believed that Christ died, was buried, and rose again. And so I'm going to give a little tour of the church. I am not an expert, it's just what I've done from research. And it's really crowded here. It's always really crowded, so hopefully this will go okay with all the crowds. So this is the outside. There's a little court area. It has a kind of construction going on right now. But along the sides, there are different kind of chapels dedicated or owned by different Christian denominations. So they're kind of all along there. And again, if you want to look it up, you can see what they all are. Outside here is where, this is kind of Calvary. The church built right over Calvary. So right there, that is where they believe Jesus was stripped of his garments. It's kind of a little chapel. And then right inside there is where he's nailed to the cross and the crucifixion. So that's that area. And then over to the left, when you walk in the door, is the spot where he was buried in his tomb and he rose again. So we'll go inside. Hopefully you can hear. There's a ton of people. Oh, actually, before we go inside, there's a crack here in one of the pillars. And I researched this story, and what it was, I guess, is there was a time when Christians were not allowed to come inside the basilica, and they were all outside. Could have been on Easter Vigil or some important celebration day. And it said that lightning came down from heaven and struck this pillar, making the crack, and fire came out. So they used the fire that came out and to light all the candles outside here in the courtyard. And then they were let inside the church. So that's kind of the tradition. So there must be some important celebration taking place. Actually, usually always some kind of religious celebration taking place here. So right over here, as soon as you walk in the door, is a marble slab, which they believe the body of Christ was laid on when he was taken down from the tomb, or the cross, and he was anointed. I'll kind of make my way over here. So people will honor that slab, and they put oil on it and kind of rub it in memory of what happened to Christ's body there. So just to give a sense of where we are in the church now, I just came in the door over there. Those stairs lead up to Calvary, where Christ was crucified, and kind of like the hill. And right over there is where I showed you that chapel where he was stripped. That's where he was nailed to the cross. And right over there, where all those candles are up there, is where he was crucified. What's an interesting fact is right below the crucifixion, there's a chapel dedicated to Adam, the first man created, like Adam and Eve. And some believe that he's buried, like Adam is actually buried under there. And I think that's where they got the name, the church, the hill, oh my heavens, something of the skull. I can't think of it right now. But yeah, the skull is associated somehow with the crucifixion, and I think it's the skull of Adam. So it's believed that the blood of Christ dripped on the first sinner of the world. And then there's a pathway over here with a number of chapels that leads around this Greek Orthodox church right here in the center, that leads over to the tomb right over there, where Christ was buried and he rose again. So I will try to make my way over to head up to Calvary with all these people here. Chapel from the outside of the Franks, where Christ was stripped of his garments. And then right over there is the chapel dedicated to where Christ was nailed to a cross. And beside it, this is the site of the crucifixion. Over where Our Lady is where they believe Christ was taken down from the cross. And there's pieces of the Rock of Calvary on each side. And then people are leaning below in order to touch the Rock of Calvary. There's a little hole where they believe that Christ's cross stood. So there's people sticking their hand in the hole. Like this is the spot they believe that the crucifixion took place. A very holy spot. from up here, that's the door that I came in, that's the slab, and then that's where I stood kind of explaining how circles around the Greek Orthodox Church and the tomb over there. So over here is the church chapel dedicated to Adam, where they believe Adam is buried. I'm not exactly sure where they believe that spot is. Somewhere over here. And the crucifixion is happened right above. This is that little hallway I pointed out that leads around the Greek Orthodox Church. Over here they have a pillar, which they believe is part of the pillar that Christ was scourged on. Here's the pillar. And was blocked off here for construction. When I first arrived, I could go in this area. I think there's a couple more chapels dedicated to maybe Saint Longinus, who thrust the spear into Christ's side, and maybe I think one dedicated to where Christ was, his clothes were divided. So down here, is another chapel, and unfortunately I don't know who owns this chapel or who it is dedicated to. A very beautiful chapel down here. And then down these steps is the chapel of St. Helen, who is the mother of Constantine, the emperor in the early 4th century, who allowed Christianity to be practiced freely in the Roman Empire. And she came here, and I guess she helped with an excavation of a lot of the holy things here, and she found the true cross. So over here is an area which I think is that slab is where they believe that she found the true cross. And I think there were people laid on it that were sick, and then the one that he was healed on, the person was healed on, they believe was the true cross. So that's St. Helen. And then many things were kind of tried to preserve and be preserved here, and then taken throughout the rest of the world as well. So kind of just a little side area down here. The beginning when I first arrived, it felt like a little bit of a maze here. But I'm slowly getting used to where things are. It's always really busy here, except in the evening it tends to taper off a bit. So back up to where that pillar was. That could be probably is a piece of the Rock of Calvary, because the crucifixion's right up over there. The Chapel of Adam. Got people coming down from Calvary. There's the slab and the door to come in. So coming back now over here, the area that I pointed out at the beginning, I think there's some kind of other chapel over there. So this over here is the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea that Christ was laid in. For 3 days, and where he rose again. So there's a little, you can walk kind of around it. They have a beautiful dome built over it. So there's 2 parts to the tomb. The first part is called the Chapel of the Angels. And it's where it's believed that the angels met the women and said, "Why are you looking for him? He is not here, he's risen." And there's a piece of the stone in there, which is part of what they believe, the stone that was rolled away from the tomb. Again, this isn't what the tomb looked like. They built a chapel over top of it. But in the back area, over on that other side, is where there's a slab where they believe his body was laid. So you can't really take pictures inside of it, but you can go inside and you can lay your head on the slab. So there's people there lined up to see that. And you can see in here where that little table is, kind of right there. That's a piece of the stone that was rolled away. That's the Chapel of the Angels, and then right beyond is a smaller little chapel, very small, where Christ was laid and rose again. Right opposite to where the entrance to the tomb is, there is a Greek Orthodox church. So this is kind of the church that we were circling around when we went over there, down to the tomb of Adam. Sorry, not the tomb of Adam, the chapel of St. Helen. Here's the tomb. It's believed it's kind of like the center of the world here, the holiest place on earth, which I sure think it is. Somewhere over here, which I think they have a little altar, is where they believe Christ appeared to Mary Magdalene. So I think that altar there marks that spot. And then they have a chapel over here that is dedicated to where the tradition says, it's not in the Bible, but that Jesus appeared to his mother. I think it was even before he appeared to Mary Magdalene. So this is the spot they believe that happened. So yeah, this area here is kind of connects to where the other spot was, where you couldn't go through, maybe construction. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a little sense of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. You can see how crowded it is. And this line here, they're all waiting to get into the tomb. Yeah, truly, truly amazing, holy, blessed place. If you ever have a chance to come here, I can't recommend it enough.